Hey there, welcome back to Limabean Crafting. I know it has been a while, but I have been super busy trying to master being a mother of now 2 little children. My daughter recently celebrated her 4th birthday party. We did an Elsa Frozen theme. So if you guys want, I have 3 different videos with DIYs in them. So go ahead and check those out on my motherhood channel. But in this video, I will be taking you through a very slow walkthrough of how I made some origami paper Christmas trees for the party. So I hope you guys enjoy. So normally I would try to do a voiceover here to show you how to make these little origami Christmas trees, but I think it'll be easiest if I just take you step by step using my supplies as I'm making them. So you're gonna start with 1 piece of paper and you want to cut it into a square. I'm gonna want this as big as possible, so I'm gonna use this 8.5-inch side as one of my sides, and I'm gonna trim off 2.5 inches from the 11-inch side to make this piece a square. And sorry about the shadows, I can only film at night when the kids are asleep. So we have this little square. We're gonna fold this paper in half, open it back up and fold it in half the other way so that you make like an X with the folds. Open it back up. And now we're gonna do diagonally. And we're gonna fold it one more time diagonally in the other direction. Okay, so you should have an X from the corner to corner and like a T or a plus sign from the side to side. Now, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna want this corner or just one of the corners and its opposite corner to fold in while this little square right here is out. And I'll try my best to show you guys, but it kind of feels like one of those little games that we used to play when we were in elementary school, like where you pick a color and then you go like 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever. So you fold this corner in and you might want to touch up the fold. And then again, you're going to fold this corner in so that it kind of creates the same type of look. All right, so I'm gonna just make sure my folds are nice and crisp. I have these corners folded in now. So this was a corner folded in, its opposite corner folded in. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this flap over here and fold it so that the edge goes down like the center fold. And do that again to the other side. So now that these are folded into the center, what we're gonna do is we want this little flap that we created by folding it in, we want it actually tucked in, kind of like what we did with the corner pieces. So we're gonna push this fold in. And it's a little bit hard with copy paper to have like everything nice and stiff. If you have slightly like thicker paper, construction paper, it might be a little bit easier to make these folds or whatever. Okay, so that fold is in. Then we're gonna take this other fold and tuck it in as well. So we're getting kind of like a Christmas tree type shape. We have that fold going in, same on this side, and we're gonna repeat the process. Notice that I flipped it over, we're gonna repeat it over here. So I got both of those flaps folded in so that they go down the center. And now these flaps, I want them to actually be behind this piece. So we're gonna tuck them in. So that side is done. Again, we're gonna press this in. Even after making like a whole bunch of these, I'm still struggling a little bit. So if you find yourself struggling too, you're in good company. All right, that little piece is tucked in now. All right, so we have all of our little folds. These will eventually be kind of spread out and give us our Christmas tree look. But first we're gonna cut from this corner to this corner so that we have a nice like flat base of our tree. And you can go ahead and recycle these or use them in a different craft, but we're not using them for the tree. Now what you're gonna do, and this is something I made a mistake the first time, I thought, you know, okay, the little branches we want to like look like they're going down, so I'm gonna cut kind of at a upper angle type thing. But actually, what I like to do, okay, so we have all these folds. I like to kind of cut up for the first little bit, and I go maybe about halfway to the fold. And then for the rest of the cuts, you can do as many or as little as you want. I'm probably gonna do 2 for a tree this size. I try to space it about 1 inch apart, but I kind of give it like a downward cut. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but my first cut, this won't really be affected at all in my next step, so I wanted to give it like a downward shape for the top of the tree. But the other 2 cuts in this case, if you have a bigger piece of paper, you can make it 3 cuts. I tried to space them about 1 inch, and I kind of cut more down to the base of the tree. Now we're gonna do a mirrored cut on the other side. Okay, so we have our cuts done. Now the last step is to fold these pieces. So, and sometimes when you cut, they kind of get stuck together. So you might wanna peel these little pieces of the tree apart. So what you're gonna do, this first piece we're not really gonna touch. This next piece, what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold from the innermost part of the cut to the outermost part of the next cut. So we're just gonna create like a little triangle of a fold. Okay, so this is the innermost part of that first cut that I made towards the center of the tree, and then to this outer flap. And you're gonna repeat that for every little strip. So the innermost cut to this corner, we're gonna create a little triangle and fold it. And then the innermost cut to the corner, again, we're gonna fold it. Now this will help kind of space your tree out together, or like space the little edges of the tree out and kind of give it some like more dimension, I guess. So we're gonna repeat this type of folding process on these pieces, and then again, when we flip it around on these other 4 pieces. So with copy paper, this is actually a little bit easier to do than with like thicker construction paper. But as you guys saw, you know, folding it in the right way at the beginning was a little bit more difficult because it is a thinner piece of paper. So there's pros and cons to the paper that you use. I honestly like the end result of both. So it just kind of depends what your preference is. This is the most tedious step of making these trees, in my opinion. So I actually kind of prefer the copy paper because it goes a little bit quicker and it's easier to fold. But you can see that I have half of my tree done. So now we're just gonna repeat the process with these other straight pieces. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're making a lot of these, you know, it's such a fine little detail that if you mess up a fold or if you rip a piece or something like that, it's not gonna be the end of the world. Like right here, my fold wasn't that great, but it doesn't really matter. You can also kind of change up the look of the tree, not only based on how many cuts you make, but how far in you go. Obviously, if I made a more shallow cut, this wouldn't be as dramatic and maybe Jay would definitely give it a different look once it's all done. So you can kind of switch up the tree's looks that way if you're making a whole bunch. But there we go, we have our little tree. It's freestanding, you really don't have to do anything else to it. And I really like how it looks. I think, in my opinion, or at least I'm hoping, that when the party is all set up, a bunch of these little trees all over the place will give it that extra special touch. Again, this was an 8.5 inch square, and it's making a tree, a final tree that is just over 4 inches tall. So if you want something a lot bigger, you're probably gonna have to get some of those craft papers that are like a foot long in size, or even something bigger. You could do poster board and make a really big tree. So there's a lot of variety that you can do with the sizing of these.
Feelings. It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed in. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took 'em all and made 'em yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh. Magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took 'em all and made 'em yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher.
Thanks again for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed and took something away from this video. Don't forget to check out all of my other motherhood content for our frozen birthday party where I tried to make everything myself, and I will catch you guys in the next one.